Hello, I'm here with Michael Rafferty, our music director, and Michael McCarthy, our theatre director. How are you two?
Thank you, very good.
Yeah,
And how's it all gone this week, first week of rehearsals?
Well, I think we've had a good week.
It's been a great week. It's fantastic just to start the piece. We've been talking about it for a year or two now.
It's a really major moment for me, where my ideas about the physical side of the staging, you start to try them out and discover whether they're working or not. And I think converting the novel into an opera is an extraordinarily difficult and challenging thing to do. And I think Philip and Christopher have done an amazing job, but I think we also need to add that theatrical layer to it, to give it that rather bizarre, rather surreal world that Kafka has.
It's a really weird opera. It's really surreal. What's been interesting for me is that I did first imagine the piece as Kay caught in this weird world of funny legal system, but everybody around him also affected by this weird system. But Michael's idea of having all the other characters playing some sort of joke on Kay and making it a slightly Truman-esque show is really interesting. And I think just watching the way it's developed, particularly because we've got a relatively small cast. It's a big cast for music theatre Wales. Eight people's a lot, but you know, in the books there's great suggestions of lots of people, crowd scene, and with 8 people. That everybody working against Kay and manipulating him makes a lot of sense for the numbers of people.
At times it sort of feels like the set can't contain the cast. Like
no, that's really
fighting
great,
for a place in it at times.
Yeah.
So when Philip Glass approached you a couple of years ago now saying, I want to make a modern opera for you, what drew you and him to the trial? Why did you come to that decision?
Well, we've had a long relationship with Philip, which has been extraordinary, and Michael and Philip get on incredibly well. I think you have somehow established a really mutual understanding, and I think he's come to see our work. We've been talking to him before we even did our first piece with him, and that was in 1989. I think he sees in us the kind of company that he was involved in right at the beginning of his compositional career, creating something different, a bit maverick, a bit new, based on tradition but doing it differently.
He came up with a whole variety of subjects, and because the one we pounced on was Kafka, and he said, "Oh, you guys like these dark subjects."
Yeah,
and I think we do. I mean,
well, we do.
We like
a bit of drama and a bit of darkness. But I remember Philip responding to the poster that we had of In the Penal Colony with the hand and the rope and everything, and he went, "God, that's gruesome." And I just said, "Well, you wrote the piece."
Yeah, well, it's more than that. It wasn't that's gruesome. Are you allowed to do that? Yeah. You've written this piece.
Yeah.
Have there been any challenges this week then with the very start of the process?
Yes, there are. Yes, inevitably there are, because actually what you have to build in the room amongst the singers, everybody in the room, you have to build a shared understanding of the way that the piece is working. And everybody comes from different places. They've been all working on different kinds of pieces, and actually the music drama of Philip Glass has a very specific mentality to it, and you have to build that, don't you, as a community, and you have to understand how the music is working before you can really do the drama. In every rehearsal we start with working on the score and what that does and what that brings out for the character and for the drama, and there are challenges then about how you actually physicalize that. And there are absolutely moments where I'm scratching my head with with the singers, particularly the more intimate scenes, going, how do we bring this to life? How do we really make this speak physically? And there are places where we haven't quite taken off yet. I've sort of got a scenario, I've got a sense of how it might work, but they haven't taken off yet. I've
really enjoyed watching the set changes, so when more people come on and tip Joseph out of bed or something, it's really intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the world in which the opera happens.
So what's next in the process then?
Well, we carry on, don't we, really? And it's accumulative. We've got to carry on going through the piece pretty well in order.
I mean, even after 2 days, know, at the beginning you're kind of, you're not struggling, but you're finding where it all fits and where the characters are going.
But today was really interesting, this afternoon, when we started on the scene that we were working on this afternoon. It just sounded like a sequence of notes at the beginning. It was extraordinary. It was just like sequence of notes. It's just, wow, how does this possibly work? And then it started to come to life. So after an hour and a half of just working at it with the scores and the piano, and Michael and I talking about it and working it with the singers, then it started to have a shape.
You have to find the ways through the rhythmic basis.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge, but it's liberating as well, because when you find it, there's this insistent pulse going through everybody, and which can be incredibly infectious.
Philip has this fabulous ability to do the sort of enigmatic quality and psychological element, and this angst that is there, that underlies all those stories.
It finds a way into you that you can't escape once you're in that place.
Much like Kay in this world.
Yes.
It reflects that quite a lot, I guess. If
Absolutely.
you're getting sort of not stuck in the music, but sort of surrounded by it.
It's Kay's experience. And through Kay, we can say, oh, it's our experience, it's the common experience, or it's the experience of what Kafka saw as the future. It's not just a setting of the book, it's reimagining it, it's forming it in a new language, because we're working in music and theatre and staging it and with singers and all of that, but it's conveying that same existential angst perhaps, but also conveying the humour that is in the story as well. And they aren't verbal gags necessarily, but there's humour in there all the time, with a tinge of the surreal, with a tinge of the uncomfortable, with a tinge of angst, but it's humorous as well. So how we find that and convey it is part of the challenge, but part of the excitement.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to watching it all unfold over the next few weeks, and we're going to be hopefully grabbing you two for some more sort of discussions over the next few weeks as well. So look out for those.